against that, but Fnatic seem to be lacking an it factor in a lot of these games over the last few weeks.
Well, we'll see if they can find it in game number 3. ROCCAT, they elect to ban away the Camille. That's on the blue side again, and there's that Swain ban. Fnatic taking away one of Betsy's secret weapons.
Yeah, taking away one of his big mid lane picks. Vlad is the other one. So Shen goes. Will that mean we'll see the Malzahar gone as well out of Fnatic? That's been one of the picks they've banned away. ROCCAT have also banned Gragas, so maybe we'll see that on blue side from him.
Yeah, this has been a bit of a mix-up. Obviously, last time around, we had much the same picks and bans in the first couple rotations as we did in game number 1. If you remember all the way back to when this series began, seems like it was some time. Fnatic are taking their time on the bans. And there's the Renekton.
Yeah, it's basically banning away the composition that ROCCAT played against them in the last game. Having that Swain, that Renekton, made for a lot of trouble for Fnatic, pushed them very late on in the game.
Early Cassiopeia ban that had been banned away by ROCCAT both times in the previous games, but on red side and in second rotation.
This indicates first phase Vladimir out of ROCCAT. It may not be first pick Vlad. I actually think that would be a giveaway in momentum now with the Graves up, the Rengar available for ROCCAT if they want either. But it's an indicator that ROCCAT are looking to put that Vladimir in the hands of Betsy again.
Well, see if that's the case. ROCCAT are weighing their options as we get into 10 seconds to make their first pick. And they're going to lock it. All on the line, it's the Vlad.
The Vlad, we knew it would be a contentious pick. ROCCAT more scared of Fnatic taking the Vlad in their first rotation than ROCCAT were scared of anything else. The Rengar, the Graves, you name it. Fnatic now have their pick of jungle. And Fnatic now have a lot of pressure on them to take a safe mid laner to play against this Vlad.
We do not often see the mid lane being the first pickup.
Especially not a Vlad in this meta. There is room for these comfort picks for teams like ROCCAT. We were talking about it a little last week on the analyst desk. Talking about how teams like ROCCAT, if they find this playstyle that works for them, get the picks that allow you, facilitate that composition.
I'll see what they build with it. For Fnatic's side, they've locked the Ezreal, and the couple seconds ticking down, they switch it over, and it's the Rumble.
And I like this. They were hovering the Ori, which I think is what they'll pick up in the next pickup. It'll be the third pick for them. But Rumble here takes away so much of Phaxi's champion pool. If you play a tank matchup, you are accepting a lost laning phase, which means ROCCAT have to pick something like a Nautilus in this rotation that can have effect outside of the laning phase. Otherwise, you're getting pushed onto a top laner that is going to get out laning phase and out team fort. And that's some pretty bad grammar from me on that one.
It happens, especially this late in the day. We've had 2 winning lane matchups. I say in air quotes because sOAZ kept pretty even in all honesty on the board, but now that's going to be a little different. ROCCAT take their bottom lane, and it's a throwback.
So there's some wave clear coming to you. We, of course, had some Varus adjustments. A little bit more focus now on consuming some of the blight stacks to get that cooldown back on, or at least reduced cooldown on your Q. There's the Orianna.
As expected, it's locked in for Fnatic. They've gone a little different.
Can you say team fight?
I think I can. Preparing myself already. We enter the second phase of bans, and now it's Fnatic's turn to see what they want to take away from ROCCAT, who've yet to take their top laner or their jungle.
I mean, Fnatic likely going to ban the Nautilus. There you go. Just a second late.
Should have given it to you earlier.
Claiming credit. I said Nautilus earlier on in the draft on ROCCAT.
There you go. Take what you get. Karma's banned away by ROCCAT.
I like this, though, because Karma is one of the supports here that Fnatic could have taken to try and alleviate some of the push power and augment the team fighting coming from Fnatic as well, enhance it. And looking at other supports that can do that, not quite on the same level as Karma.
Well, the Lulu was banned away, so ROCCAT have to be feeling pretty happy that their Malzahar is definitely going to have a lot of push potential on. You know what else? You know what is still up? Zyra.
Zyra is still available. Also, there are a couple of other supports like Alistar potentially. It sounds weird. It sounds strange, but the Alistar matchup is one that has been played into Malzahar. I wonder whether, I mean, it helps team fighting as well, right? You get an engaged ball delivery. We might see Fnatic go that way. Jungle is likely to be the pick here unless they're flexing Rumble. But there are a couple of picks still available for Fnatic a lot of jungle like Graves. Oh, there it is. There it is. The Alistar matchup into the Malzahar plus the ball delivery. They're saving their jungle, flexing potential with this Rumble.
That's a big side of beef.
So,
oh, Fnatic, they're going to have one hell of a team fight.
Gragas, if they pick it up here, is a good disengaged champion. Can throw a spanner in the works against Fnatic. They can play it from the jungle. Maxlore has played it all the way through his career. Through Challenger and that, it was in his champion pool, but so is that one of Lee Sin.
Yeah, they take it away from Broxah as well, but you know, he very well may be going on that Rumble. I'm starting to lose my words at this point too.
Could put it on Phaxi is the other one.
Here's another option. Try and push back against that Rumble. Do they take it? Situational tankiness in the Gnar. Is Phaxi feeling confident enough to take that toe-to-toe against sOAZ?
Now, Gnar is the lane matchup that at least allows you to have side lane control. Less reliable teamfight presence, but it is still there, right? Like, ROCCAT still have a lot of crowd control coming here. They haven't got the worst teamfight setup of themselves, but where's Broxah going? Is Lee Sin's not available?
That is the
question. Could be the Gragas that we see out of Fnatic here. Or the Graves.
Is still up and available as well. It gives them a little extra power, and they take it. So, good mix of damage, big tanky support. Fnatic, they are gearing up for some big fights.
This rounds out some of their earlier game, at least post-6 damage. Of course, Ori Ezreal need a little bit of time. Rumble does have damage early on. Now with this Graves alongside, allows them to contend somewhat with ROCCAT, but ROCCAT, late game for themselves. The Vlad is here. The side lane for Phaxi with this Gnar is going to be able to at least punish sOAZ once we get later on. And now we have to see the second game of the day that Varus has been picked. I believe it was picked in Series 1.
Yeah. Feels like a season ago at this point.
Yeah, it was Tabs. He was going more for that maxed E, trying to get more damage down that way.
Well, keep an eye on it. One more time. ROCCAT managed to claw their way back to force the draw in this game number 3, and as the coaches shake hands to walk off the stage one last time today, it is going to be epic. Big implications for ROCCAT to get out of the relegation zone, for Fnatic to give themselves a nice bubble over the other two teams below them in Group A. It's on the line here in Week 8. We'll see who's able to take it away. One more time, if you believe in ROCCAT, hop on Twitter, hashtag ROCWin is your sign. And for Fnatic, it's hashtag FNCWin over at LOL eSports. That's where you got to send them. We'll find out whose comp reigns supreme in the third game of this best of 3.
Whew, this has really got right down to it. Pirate, game 3. Both games have been quite long and have been back and forth. Fnatic, I was thinking coming into this week with a measuring stick for ROCCAT and Giants. If you beat Fnatic, you basically earn that safe spot, right? You take a win off a team that is supposedly so much stronger. But ROCCAT right now, they're contending with Fnatic. And now they've got themselves, again, another comfortable setup with this Vlad. Maxlore's on his Lee Sin. Is it enough?
We're going to have to find out. This game might go a little bit more explosive, a little faster. We had a lot of Cloud Drakes last time on the map, but there's an Infernal. That's a while before it goes up. I'm getting ahead of myself. Doesn't matter. Caps is going down early.
Always like that Infernal first.
Let's see what this invade does.
Faster paced game. Yeah, there's a 3-man stack here. They're waiting to see whether someone from ROCCAT's going to check
Hjarnan
here.
Wadid. Oh. There we go. There's the ball.
Break it. Yeah, there you go.
Knock up. They force the flash. No, they don't.
But they force enough damage down onto Wadid. Look, minions have spawned already. So Wadid, if he goes back now, going to be late to the lane.
Good start.
Important that Fnatic broke that Malzahar passive. Once you do that, Malzahar's a lot less safe against Alistar.
Yep, very squishy. Has the range, of course, but Jesiz is still going to have the opportunity to make some plays. You called it in the pick and ban that this was a possibility.
And expect now Ezreal Alistar to stand in the lane as it comes back, because they're going to try and push this as fast as possible. They know Hjarnan can't afford to move forward, and that's exactly what they did for the first few moments of this lane. You can see Wadid not there yet. They're getting that push, getting the relic shield stacks, trying to just alleviate as much as they can, get that level 2 faster.
See what they can do against this pokey duo.
Because it's Alistar at level 2. if you break that long duration shield on Wadid with like a Mystic Shot early for Rekkles, you Q-flash out of him onto that Malzahar, headbutt him back, and maybe you win the trade, but Jesiz has lost a lot of his health already.
Yeah, he has. He's trying to get involved, not level 2 just yet.
And actually, ROCCAT have turned around some of this push. Wadid is a little behind on the experience. Hjarnan absorbed some of his own in the lane. He was solo there, so actually is going to hit level 2 first in that lane. Just happened.
Broxah's incoming down bottom. He looks like he's just occupied by the Scuttlecrab vision for the time being. Maxlore's actually popped his way Blastcone over the pit, and the junglers will pass. Dodging the Sonic Wave. Nicely done. Red buff versus double buffs. Maxlore takes more damage.
Yeah, Broxah couldn't quite line it up against the wall, so he didn't get that instant proc.
Fnatic have had a lot of long series this split. It is worth pointing out, these guys are no strangers to game number 3s.
And, I mean, when you look at the dynasty of Fnatic, the whole crowd's over that kind of minion. The dynasty of Fnatic. Between 2014, 2015, every split, it was either finals, they won it, apart from the one that, obviously, Alliance ended up taking home. Even contending, like at third place games, everything over the last 3 years hasn't been the same this split or the last for Fnatic, and they are still trying to regroup, trying to reset themselves. Obviously, they're in a safe spot this split, but certainly not the top contenders that Fnatic have been in splits gone by.
Yeah. The team has definitely done some soul searching, for sure. Continuing process. But ROCCAT, on their side, they're looking scrappy. They're making proactive plays. Maybe it took them quite a long time to finish out a game, but the fact that they're still contending with the team above them in a split where we haven't seen, honestly, hardly any upsets is impressive to see from their side.
Breaks the shield.
There we go. The Voidlings come in, though. Oh, that was last game. Man, what a way to rack things up.
Yeah, they give an Origin a run for their money on the numbers. Not really.
It'll take some catching up to do. You want to hit that level of inhibitors and towers.
You can see the problem there as Fnatic continue with these aggression plays on the bot side. Like, you can see the problem with Rekkles on this Ezreal with the Alistar. If you can't get the Qs through the minions, there's not a lot of damage follow-up for Jesiz, and he's burned through quite a lot of mana, quite a lot of his health already. Obviously does have potions, we'll be able to stack that back up. So it's not all that bad in that bot lane, but
definitely not.
Gotta be careful when you take those trades bot lane.
Yeah, but we focus pretty hard on the bottom lane. There's a whole lot else going on around the map. I honestly want to focus, since it is top lane week, on what's been going on in the top lane, because we thought Phaxi wasn't going to be able to have a winning lane, but he turned around, pulled out the Gnar, and now all he's got to do is avoid sOAZ's Flame Spitter for a little while. He does have a CS advantage, and honestly, it's going to be all on if Phaxi can get involved, use that teleport when his Gnar bar's up to make the team fights happen. Always tricky to execute.
Yeah, normally it means there's a slight delay on Gnar's build, which ends up being Hex Drinker into the Frozen Mallet, that playstyle where you get the safety, then look for the lane control. It means that Phaxi has so much more impact in the 1 versus 1 than sOAZ, and then sOAZ TP's in and gets the basically guaranteed equalizer, whereas Phaxi has to have that Gnar bar, play around it. It's a little bit less reliable in the team fight, so we'll see which one ends up being the influential member of the team.
Well, they're close to hitting level 6. Up at the top, sOAZ is actually the one that grabs it first. Mega Gnar is about to come up, but sOAZ has no fear. Mid lane, just to push back and forth. We talked about late game being kind of the big name of the game for both these teams, so we could be in for a very long one, but both these mid laners have the potential to really turn fights on their heads as Betsy looks to chase in caps the time being. Oh, there is a Hema Plague on.
Just forcing him back here.
And Ignite, though.
The thing is, Betsy has already recalled As's caps, but just trying to force him back. He wasn't necessarily looking for the kill, but Betsy might be looking, if he can get like an E flash in. It's kind of difficult because the minions block a lot of it, and Jesiz is already coming mid.
Yep. Good defensive maneuver from Fnatic. Send in the cow when all else fails. Fnatic have a lot of vision, actually, around this Dragon Pit. I don't think they'll be giving up dragons quite as easily as they did last time when it was all Cloud Drakes all the time.
Oh, Fnatic. They're living up to their namesake.
Oh, that's a rush of death. Oh, Wadid gets everything popped on him, and he manages to flash out of harm's way. He does spend both of his summoners as he puts the exhaust on. Jez has followed suit.
Yeah, Shockwave didn't connect out of Caps. They got the flash, though. Denying some of that engage if Wadid were to hit 6 while that cooldown is still unavailable. It kind of stems some of the aggression coming from ROCCAT. But as you said, Fnatic just trying to push further and further into the ROCCAT jungle, trying to get as much control over this Infernal Drake as they can.
And back down to bot go the supports. Jesiz and Wadid taking the places again. Maxlore will find a ward in the brush up here. There's been a lot of vision wars this series so far. And now in a game 3, the team's definitely attuned a little bit more to the play patterns of the kind of thing that you may not necessarily be able to see just from scouting it out. You can see it when you play the teams as long as this series has been.
But, you know, Fnatic are playing a very different setup to the last couple of games. And this is one which is more about team play. I mean, you look at Caps right now. Imagine him as one of the Power Rangers. He gets his Zord, but until you put them all together, you don't quite have that Megazord. That's what Fnatic are looking for.
So the ball delivery system is the Megazord?
No, like the whole thing. You got the Rumble, you got the Orianna, you got the Alistar, the burst from the ultimates, from Graves, Ezreal. It's all going to connect, and that's the end of the episode.
All right. Well, we'll see. It's been a long couple of them. We had a few fillers in there for sure, but now can ROCCAT close it out, or will it be Fnatic after a very, very long game 2 that they nearly held out in time and again? Phaxi taking a lot of damage, gets narbecued for a second, but sOAZ runs out of steam, and now it's Mega Gnar time. Soon enough, he flashes in, gets a big Gnar. sOAZ is going to follow suit. Wallop is on. There we go. It's first blood for Phaxi.
Smacks him down. Turn giant, gets the kill. Not enough for sOAZ, and you have to be careful trading against Gnar, because you almost always win the upfront trade, but you almost always lose the tail end, because Hyperprocs, Gnar sticks on you, gets multiple rotations of that Hyper third proc damage, and suddenly you got a Mega Gnar.
Yep, Phaxi showing he can tangle with, you know, our most experienced top laner here in Europe. We showed it at the beginning. So many more games sOAZ has, but Phaxi was able to show him up there.
And sOAZ has to know that. He's played against Gnar so many times.
He's played against so many great Gnar players.
Yeah, he has. But it is deep in this time of this series, right? Where game 3, after what essentially was 70 minutes in the last game of play, including, you know, pick and ban plus that pause we had.
And everything in between, Phaxi goes in once again. Snarbart still stacking up. There's no flash. There's the equalizer, though. And that's going to deter Phaxi. But ROCCAT are looking like they will grab themselves an Infernal Dragon. Uncontested to start this one off. Broxah, though, wants to change that right now. Betsy's going to have to pull away. Maxlore looking to safeguard. Flashes, kicks in. Oh, is he going to follow that one?
No, not if Caps has Shockwave available. That's just a warning shot, trying to push back the Fnatic aggression.
Yeah. I was going to go into the point about mental fatigue you mentioned early on and how it can make a couple of mistakes. Might have been the case with sOAZ up there, but it didn't punish Maxlore. Ooh. He held on that Sonic Wave. He didn't get Lee Syndrome. Caps is coming up, though, to push this one out. He's got summoners.
Phaxi's no flash. He's going to have to hop over Caps.
Oh, boy, this is a dangerous
game.
Get out of it. That's the Shockwave. Minions are there, but no chance.
You can see Phaxi, you know, has the Hex Drinker, is thinking maybe I can outlast this. Couldn't quite position in time against Caps. Still does well in the trade, but it's enough for them to commit. Now, what do ROCCAT do in response to this? You can see Betsy had backed away. Maxlore had backed away. No opportunity for them to equalize that kill.
So Fnatic get themselves a kill scot-free, and Phaxi, that feel when you get killed by a gank from the mid laner. Just a roving up. Clearing away the minions, though, is Hjarnan and Wadid, pushing back Jesiz and Rekkles. This is the range advantage. The Varus Malzahar, it's a lane that we're very used to seeing. We thought things might be changing a little bit, but without them banned away this time, ROCCAT got their hands on it, and they've been keeping it pushed, even if they don't have the CS advantage.
Yeah. Betsy looking just trade every single time he can up against Caps. Did use his Proto Belt there, so...
It gets found by Broxah. That's a lot of damage. Exhaust is on, though, and the Voidlings push him back. Now he's got a roaming mid.
Wadid doesn't have that now. Oh, flash
oh,
forward.
Nice nether grasp, and it's all in Betsy's hands, but as it expires, Caps flashes away.
Good flash out by Caps. Saves his life. Betsy used that ignite. Now Wadid has used exhaust and flash, so that Malzahar is a lot less lethal, especially without that ultimate too. ROCCAT trying to set up a play top. They know that sOAZ is vulnerable to a lot of this damage. Phaxi's about to transform.
Yep, unfortunately he had no minion wave to tank it up for him, so they weren't able to make that dive happen. Gnar, he hopped backwards instead, and Maxlore spotted on that ward as he goes through Tri-Brush.
And sOAZ still has his ultimate as well, so we can just save this tower. There you go. Lays it down, gets rid of all of the minions. Suddenly pressure has been removed from that play.
Nicely done by sOAZ. There's the experience shining through. Meanwhile, down at the bottom.
Broxah is invading with nobody on his team there.
Oh, and that's what happens.
That's,
wrong neighborhood.
That's a really rough play out of Broxah. Look at bot lane was pushed towards Fnatic. Mid lane wasn't, but that's because Betsy was out of lane.
Yep.
Killing Broxah.
That was a nice play by Betsy.
Yeah, didn't have the ability to stay alive. Now Maxlore finally finding sOAZ.
Here we go, flashes up. sOAZ nowhere for him to go though, and Maxlore takes him down.
Maxlore's been stalking that top lane for a good minute and a half now. Finally, you know, finding that situation. Phaxi will be able to push this out again. sOAZ TP will come up just about when he's alive, but this was Broxah invading. He knows Wadid doesn't have flash, exhaust, or his ultimate available, but I mean, this early on, against Wadid and Betsy, it's still not enough. Like, Betsy coming down out of the lane is far too much damage for Broxah to handle.
Yeah, he kind of baited himself there. Without a whole lot of secure vision and without any allies in nearby, he was pretty easy pickings once Betsy made a turnaround.
Look at what Fnatic are indicating they're setting up for, though. Looking at a bot lane play. Maybe looking to bring sOAZ in as well. That equalizer is nearly available, so if they can drag ROCCAT forward in the lane and TP in. There's already a TP coming out from Phaxi. It's ROCCAT trying to make the play first, but they're up against a team fighting team. They've got to be careful that they don't overextend.
2 TPs burned, nobody takes the fight. Fnatic weren't able to get the play off, but ROCCAT, they also were forced to burn that summoner. Nobody was left pushing up on the top side. Jesiz looking to make a 2v2 play. Oh, there's the equalizer though. Flashed and healed by Hjarnan.
It's okay for now. I mean, ROCCAT is still a little tense here, but Maxlore is here, as is Phaxi, so they kind of stem any kind of aggression coming from Fnatic.
ROCCAT reset.
Yeah.
Gonna look to just try to keep it pushed back. It's only 1 tower on the game. ROCCAT had gotten the first tower blood, and that and a couple of kills are really making up the difference in the gold as we hit the 15-minute mark.
Yeah, hitting that again. And ROCCAT in game 2 had a lead, and it's the same story. Yeah. ROCCAT are actually looking mighty good in these last 2 games against Fnatic.
Yeah. I mean, they've all been close. You go all the way back to game number 1, and it was kind of the Fnatic game up until the Baron attempt that turned things on its head. ROCCAT got a grip, and then they lost it. Fnatic were able to take a big fight and the game. Game number 2 was a long holdout, and ROCCAT finished the job. Both these teams really wanted it. It means so much when you get to the end of the season. All those points matter. Fnatic, you know, they're looking to stay safe. They're looking to get themselves, you know, into a close to undeniable position for playoffs and that 3rd place spot in their group. ROCCAT are just trying to stay alive. There's still hope for this team for sure, and they've definitely been on an upturn the last couple weeks.
There's a lot of life left if this is ROCCAT trying to stay alive. They, I mean, of course, got my eyes fixed on mid lane right now.
Yeah, Caps is going to ghost it out though. Betsy is able to close a lot of distances with that proto belt.
A lot of discussion around the teams that are contending around the promotion tournament, right? And from Challenger, of course, there are 4 teams still available. LCS, there technically are still 4 teams that can still be in that mix. ROCCAT are one of them. And the improvements they've shown this week, I think actually puts them on a platform where they might be good enough to contend with teams like PSG and maybe on a bad day from Schalke, because Schalke haven't looked perfect. They had a perfect win record, but this ROCCAT, I actually think, might be able to contend with them, which probably is going to anger a lot of fans, but Fnatic.
Sometimes it is what it is, and Caps is finding himself caught up and locked up. He's not got that flash up yet, and Betsy, with the help of Wadid, finishes the job. Meanwhile, Fnatic, they're trying to make a play down bottom, but they have run smack dab out of minions.
Yeah, Fnatic are going to get denied for a couple more seconds. It's enough that ROCCAT take down the mid tower, and once again, ROCCAT very focused on taking towers down. It's about an even trade on that one, but remember, ROCCAT had already taken a tower earlier in this game.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking great. It's honestly like, you talk about this ROCCAT squad being able to contend with the better challenger teams, but they're contending with Fnatic, who's you know, a middle of the table LCS squad at the moment. This is looking great for this team as they continue to try to finish off the season on an uptick. 2 wins last week. They're only 2 of the split. Had been so many close games. A lot of heartbreak for this ROCCAT squad, but well, guess what? They're blasting off in week 8.
I mean, you can just see the last game, got a 2,000 gold lead at 15, similar in this game, and they've tried to expand on it. They have to watch out for a Fnatic team fight, though. I can't really understate just how impactful this lineup from Fnatic, if everything hits, is going to just destroy ROCCAT. You got a low mobility AD carry. You got, if you can catch that Vlad before he pulls, another damage dealer that's not exactly that difficult of taking out instantly if you can get him.
Yeah, it's going to be slippery. It's going to be difficult. Fnatic, they have the Megazord when they want to fight it, but can ROCCAT outplay it?
It's if Betsy doesn't die on the first rotation of the team fight. If Betsy survives, ROCCAT can out-team fight this Fnatic lineup. Hjarnan, oh, Shockwave!
Gonna land. Oh, and there comes the cow, and they throw everything in the kitchen sink at him.
Look at the cooldown on Hjarnan's flash.
Oh, that sucks.
It's right about to come up, and Hjarnan stepped just too far forward in the mid lane. That might be what Fnatic needs to turn around their fortunes on this one, because they were relying on this Varus to push out mid. While you had Vlad on the side lane, you've got Gnar on the side lane trying to 1-3-1. Suddenly, Varus steps forward, no flash. Down goes the turret.
Yeah, that was just by a couple of inches, and Fnatic just womboed a huge, huge combo on top of him. So it was 1 kill spent for all that, but Fnatic get themselves a tower. They start to swing the gold back their way. Let's take a look at how it happened again.
Fairly straightforward. Caps, flash, shockwave into the combo out of Alistar.
And there was everything else that honestly wasn't even necessary, but it looked cool.
I mean, they just throw in everything. That's what this comp does. It's like everybody presses R, and then if everybody's dead, Fnatic win.
Seems pretty straightforward.
That's the entire comp. It's good. It's fun to watch. It's nice. Like,
yeah, putting on a show for sure. 2,000 gold lead, or a little bit less than that still for ROCCAT, though. Betsy looking to extend that as he's uncontested down on the bottom with a line of minions that have congoed forward. He'll be able to finish off this tower. That will be the last outer that ROCCAT have yet to knock down, and there it goes. We're getting close to that 20-minute mark. ROCCAT have 2 dragons already. There's another Infernal that'll come up after that. That'll really help them the later this game goes.
Yeah, it's truly will. As you said, would be the 2nd Infernal. It's enough. Like, if Betsy starts outputting damage, Hjarnan has damage in team fights as well. Just because Fnatic are good at that wombo combo doesn't mean it's a done deal.
Yeah, talked a lot about the good things Fnatic can do, but if ROCCAT can keep this pressure on, might be hard for them to get back in the game. Fnatic, they definitely seem to be the holdout masters, but I don't think you ever want to be in a situation where you're cowed inside your base once again, even if your late game team fighting is absolutely ridiculous as this team is. What are Fnatic needing to do, though, other than just trying to catch an individual member? Is that all they can really do at this point in the game?
Well, for now, it's wave clear on Fnatic's prerogative. They have to maintain some sense of vision control, wave clear. Just don't let too many objectives go over to ROCCAT, because there is, you know, a near insurmountable point. Despite having a good team fight. I mean, everybody always says if you've got a wombo combo, then the game's never over until the Nexus is down, right? But if ROCCAT get to like 10,000 gold ahead, then ROCCAT can afford to avoid any situations like that. So obviously we're a long way away from that. Yeah, ROCCAT are in a good spot though. Like, Fnatic just need to slow any kind of ROCCAT playmaking ability, and that's what they're doing with this vision control. You can see forcing ROCCAT to come in now. ROCCAT sweep it out. This is ROCCAT making the right plays, controlling vision, but it's not an easy thing to do right now.
No, it's not, but they're executing on it. Clearing away as much of the vision as they can near the Baron pit. There's still the blue trinket ward inside of it. Obviously, it's very early for ROCCAT to try and start off that Baron.
And the difficult thing for Fnatic is that it's so tough to control this Gnar. One of the reasons Gnar is such a good matchup into Rumble is right now, if sOAZ goes to the bot lane and the minion wave isn't close to his tower, well then Gnar chases you down the lane, kills you, and then takes the tower behind you. So sOAZ can't afford to be much further up than he is right now, otherwise Phaxi all-ins him.
And we've seen that happen already in this game. Phaxi has honestly looked very impressive on this stage, in this series, over sOAZ. Has been a tough fight all across the board, though. We still sit 1-1 on this series in what has been, honestly, a real drawn-out slog. But ROCCAT, they are looking for those precious points, looking to take out Fnatic, a team above them in the standings, a couple teams above them in the standings, and try to get out of that relegation zone.
A team they have never beaten in a series either. ROCCAT's current win-loss record against Fnatic in history is 6 game wins, 22 losses, but ROCCAT want to turn that around.
They're looking to change it right now. sOAZ is going down. Phaxi follows forward. He flashes and he throws the boomerang to secure the kill. Fnatic are trying to mobilize to push back on the tower. True shot is dodged. Just went right by his left ear.
And look at how comfortable this is for ROCCAT. They push up with the Gnar, bring in the engage tool of Wadid, and it's more of a battering ram than anything else here. They push out, now they're looking for an Infernal Drake. You've got to give credit to ROCCAT for this performance.
The growth from this team is absolutely impressive to see. There is a Dragon being started now. Fnatic, they're nowhere in position to try and contest this. A very important Infernal Drake for the ROCCAT team, an extra 8% AD and AP. A bulwark against the Fnatic late game team fighting comp. But we're still a long ways away from how long we've seen some of these games go. Not even 24 minutes on the clock yet, but it's 5-2 in ROCCAT's favor, and they've got the gold lead.
Got the gold lead, and this is where this last little bit of increasing their lead came from. Oh, it's a Mega Gnar. He's not going to be able to push up the turret, right? He's got a Malzahar back in the back of the lane for him, and even with Mega Gnar, it's enough damage to come through, easily take out that Rumble under tower, and it looks like we're back to exactly the same spot, but this time Fnatic are going to be able to defend. They bring the rest of the team over, and right now for Fnatic, they need to somehow force a fight. And that is easier said than done for this lineup. They need Jesiz to get in their ball delivery system and hope ROCCAT are kind of stacking on top of each other. But look at how ROCCAT are playing this 1-3-1. It's so difficult to engage on a Varus. He has his ult to deny. You got Lee Sin to kick away. Betsy can pull out. Phaxi already has control in the side lane with the jump. He's 2 levels up on sOAZ.
It's a safe siege, especially when you've got kill pressure on all the siegers. So Jesiz and Broxah, they're going to try to bait inside a brush, and there's a ping flying forward. Maxlore looks like he'll check into it here. Oh, turns around.
That would have been the moment. That would have been the type of play that if Maxlore had face checked into that, would have been the kill that could have built Fnatic back into this game.
Yeah. Maxlore is definitely keeping a cool head.
You can see Fnatic starting to reach item breakpoints, though. Rabadon's has been finished on caps, looking for more items.
Yeah, that's the important thing. Fnatic definitely showed that they can still tango. They have a lot of damage, as we stated quite a lot. Caps in the mid lane. He's got the Morellos as well as the Rabadons. You just said it's a huge amount of damage on that Orianna, and that Shockwave, if it lands, it's gonna sting.
There's a lot of damage that Betsy has, though, as well.
Oh boy, there's the ball. Oh, yeah, and there we go.
Yeah, but Betsy heals most of it back up.
This is true.
Gets that empowered transfuse off and just goes, okay, well, I guess I'll run away then.
Yeah, not too worried about it.
Phaxi ignores Rumble while the minion wave is alive, just pushes the tower down.
Yeah. Wash, rinse, and repeat. ROCCAT continue on the 1-3-1. They keep pushing wards deeper into Fnatic territory. Both sides of the Fnatic jungle are lit up like a Christmas tree for ROCCAT right now. And let's see how long they wait before they want to try to force out a Baron bait.
And you know, it is a slower pace game. A lot of, you know, the stronger teams when it comes to making plays would be looking to close this game out faster, but you've got to look at what's on the line for a team like ROCCAT here, being ahead against Fnatic, who is ahead of you in the standings by so far. They want to play this out carefully. That's why there's no over-aggression. This isn't a lineup that can afford to lose this game.
Absolutely not. You want to build on that momentum, get yourself a 3rd win in the series, and over Fnatic, it's so important to not give them the opportunity to come back with a composition like this. Fnatic are masters of doing that. And ROCCAT, yes, they're playing it out slow. We said the same thing about game 2, but guess what? They ground out a win. And sometimes that's what you have to do.
And the wave clear tools are once again in effect for Fnatic. Orianna, Ezreal, Graves, Rumble, everything, if they're throwing it at wave clear, can hold for Fnatic. But they have a very potent combination of ultimates if used together, and ROCCAT are making a mistake.
Well, ROCCAT made a few of them.
Look at this, ROCCAT, nice play. I like this play onto sOAZ, bringing Maxlore this time. It's 3 members.
Oh boy, that's a lot of damage to kick, and everything is thrown sOAZ's way. No flash. He knew he wasn't getting out alive.
And Betsy had shoved up top. Mid lane had dropped back into the pocket, and Hjarnan was safe. There's no reaction play for Fnatic in that moment. The only thing they can do now is assume slightly more control over wards and vision on this top side jungle. They can't do it over bot lane right now because they know ROCCAT are there. So Fnatic's only response is to ever so slightly increase their top side.
Keep on moving. Phaxi pushed up pretty hard right now, but ROCCAT feeling like they might be able
caught
to fight,
Hjarnan.
but they've caught Hjarnan again. True Shot comes in. Exhaust is on. The redemption is not there in time. And that's a quick pickup. There's your mistake from ROCCAT that Fnatic were waiting for.
Yeah, and ROCCAT now need to at least buy time. Phaxi is pushing in the bot lane. sOAZ isn't yet there, but has his ultimate available when he is alive. And Phaxi, a little unfortunate Mega Gnar timing means he can't push fully onto this tower. ROCCAT are going to get stalled out from this. Fnatic looking to close in. Look at the minimap. Ezreal and Orianna are coming across.
Oh boy, Phaxi, let's see if he can hop, skip, and jump as fast as he can. Fnatic are looking to close the net on him here. Rekkles is going to meet him in just a couple of seconds. There's a missing shot. There's one hop, and he is going nowhere, and he knows it. Gnarbar still a ways away. He does get the hyper. Caps. Oh, flash in the shockwave. He stays alive, though.
But look, Betsy has been able to deter anything in mid through this, and Maxlore is clearing out the vision control on top. This is a fairly intelligent response to this from ROCCAT, where you look at it, like, a lot of teams would just go, okay, well, the rest of us are safe, let's recall. So Maxlore clears out jungle vision. Betsy maintains. ROCCAT really look to have stepped up their game.
Yeah, keeping it safe, keeping it even if they'd lost Phaxi there, they didn't lose anything else on the map, and now Fnatic have backed away. There's another Infernal about to spawn, Stress.
But I like that Fnatic aren't just sitting back on this when they're not resting. Hjarnan was out of position for the 2nd time in this game, and those are the 2 deaths that he has racked up, and it has slowed down ROCCAT every single time.
Fnatic are looking to fight over this dragon. 5 seconds still comes up. Mega Gnar's already popped, and now Fnatic are throwing their weight towards the mid lane.
I mean, 3 Infernals would be a massive, massive power, at least boost for ROCCAT.
See if we get a proper fight here. It looks like it.
Phaxi
Okay,
doesn't have Mega Gnar.
Caps. Oh, Betsy. He gone in, he gone out. The shockwave is not going to connect where they wanted to. They find Caps, and now it is a 5v4, and they keep going for more. Looking on it, sOAZ. Broxah all low. Maxlore is going to get taken down in the end, but Phaxi's still leading the charge.
He can clean
the
up
rest of
here.
ROCCAT, yes, he can. He's not got the Gnarbar just yet, but that's a lot of boomerang damage. He keeps on throwing. It comes right back at you, and now it's going to be dragon time.
Fnatic could not hold in that fight. Caps ending up dropping low, didn't have his flash or ghost available for that fight. Threw out the shockwave, but to no avail in that fight. I believe it didn't quite even complete the animation before Caps died. That's why it's back available. But ROCCAT, 3 Infernals on the board, and this is how the fight started. Fnatic trying to come in through the angle. Phaxi's Mega Gnar has just expired, so if ever there was a time for them to fight. But look at Betsy finding the way into the fight. Caps couldn't get that ultimate off fully, and Fnatic, this should have been a good position for them to fight. Equalizer is cutting ROCCAT out, but still they lose 2 members. Phaxi is strong enough to just march on alone into 4 members of Fnatic as Maxlore was distracting them. And ROCCAT get the dragon and again extend their lead.
No smite, no problem. Maxlore gave his life for the effort. It is 8-4 now in kills.
Hey, okay, Wadid's got to be careful on this. He's dancing in the bush.
Yeah.
But this game is not done yet.
No, it's not. But ROCCAT, they're clearly in the driver's seat. It's a big gold lead. There are 3 Infernal Dragons, plus a Cloud Drake. You can't undercut that for sure. And ROCCAT, I mean, they have not made that many mistakes this game. You talked about Hjarnan's a couple of missteps. Really, not much more than that. And it is really impressive to see them grow at this pace. But Fnatic, they are not going to give up without a fight.
That's something we have learned about Fnatic this split.
I think we learned it a while ago, but
that's true.
Even this, it doesn't matter what generation of Fnatic it is, they always seem to have some crazy games, don't they?
This one has had its share of base saves. The Unicorn series, game 2 of this series, multiple times. Wasn't quite enough to be successful in this series.
Yeah.
But
heart attacks of games for sure.
I mean, they got the Ezreal, they got the Orianna, they got wave clear enough that without a Baron buff, ROCCAT cannot push through, and we've seen a timid approach out of ROCCAT in this series. It's not been all-out aggression. It has been, can we 100% make that play, or maybe even 90%? It's not been 50-50s for ROCCAT in any stretch of the imagination, and as long as they maintain that, they could be all right. ROCCAT gets spotted out by a blue trinket.
It's reminiscent of, honestly, some of the approaches of the top teams in Europe. G2 eSports especially comes to mind when they famously stated they don't want to go for those 50-50s. They only make the big plays that they know they can win, or at least have a very big chance of winning. And it seems like teams like ROCCAT are taking cues from them there.
Yeah, it's not quite the same approach, but I understand the implication. Trying to go for that slower approach. I think G2's is more conscious.
Yeah, that's probably true. But ROCCAT looks like they're going to get this Baron too, unless Broxah is able to make the hero play. Maxlore kicks him, goes right back in, and he secures it. Maxlore, oh man, that was sick.
That was risky. That was risky, but good from Broxah. They just cracked the bot lane inhibitor tower as well. sOAZ has not been able to hold against Phaxi. And Fnatic, can they hold now? 3 minutes and 10 seconds on this Baron buff, and ROCCAT are looking to siege.
Wow-wee. Okay, 9-4 now. They take down Broxah as well as the Baron. Let's see what they can get done with this buff. Map control, they've had a lot of it this game. Pings, though, on the open inhib in the bottom lane. It is the obvious choice here for ROCCAT, but they continue to stick to the split push strategy. Vlad up in the top. sOAZ is going to be sent to deal with him.
So now
Jesiz.
They still don't have Broxah. They have to be careful. And this is such an upset if ROCCAT win this, in the sense that this will be the first time this entire split that a team sitting in the bottom 4 of the standings will have taken a series of a team sitting in the top 6 spots. ROCCAT are looking to write that history for themselves.
Let's see if they can, or if Fnatic will deny it. Wadid's gonna have to flash away. Meanwhile, nobody is stopping Phaxi as he has free hits on the inhibitor in bottom. Fnatic realize just a second too late. Should be able to get back, maybe cut him off. He's got his flash available, and he might just need to use it. Yes, he does.
They're committing everyone to this.
They're going for it. That's a big shockwave, or not big enough, though. They get the Gnar, but look what ROCCAT's doing.
Look top, look mid. ROCCAT are rushing in. Fnatic overcommit to saving bot, and they will lose 2 inhibitor towers from it, and an inhibitor in the top lane.
ROCCAT taking Phaxi's sacrifice here, turning it into a big objective swing for themselves. 35 minutes now on the game. They've cracked the base of Fnatic. They've opened up inhibitors in 2 other lanes. Fnatic, they're going to have to hold out for a little while longer still.
When this has become an incredibly tense game for Fnatic. What looked like a controlled game 1, in the fashion we would expect to begin the series for Fnatic, got ripped away from them by ROCCAT coming back in game 1, and just about maintained into a Fnatic win.
Yeah.
And from that turnaround in game 1, Fnatic have looked up against the wall at most points in this series.
They have been able to push back from that wall so many times here.
They have.
I mean, but this is getting big. ROCCAT have so many advantages. And it is so huge for them to win this series.
Jesiz is out on his own. Jesiz needs to start his recall, like right.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
Okay.
Jesiz.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he's
crouching support, hidden cow.
Oh no! Now he shows on a ward.
Wait,
he's shown on a ward. Like
okay,
ROCCAT now know they can turn for it.
I think that
he was safe in the bush. Oh,
wait for it. Wait for it. Nope. Goodbye. That was weird.
Oh, they found Betsy.
Wait. Okay, hold on. Everybody just lost their minds for a second, I think.
Yeah, this is
going a little low, but that is a huge amount of regeneration in Fnatic. They don't have anything like that. In goes Maxlore. They got 2 down here. ROCCAT all of a sudden, they're able to turn this one on. Shockwave, it's going to be whiffed. Caps is isolated from the rest of the team. Hjarnan flashes forward. They get the kill.
It's all about stopping the Phaxi here. Look at Betsy running up mid lane.
They're going for it.
I mean, the rest of Fnatic, they're desperately trying to get back. It's only Rekkles that actually recalled. It's only Rekkles on Broxah. ROCCAT look like they're about to do it.
They might just. It's 37 minutes on the clock now. It's only Rekkles for another 10 seconds as Jesiz is not going to come back up. Can Rekkles be the hero that Fnatic needs? I don't think it's going to happen. There's a lot of damage here, and he's got to get back up. There is no chance now. The last of the Nexus turrets are going to fall. Jesiz goes in for the hero play, but it's all Nexus, and ROCCAT, after one hell of a long series, will finish off the Nexus and take the series 2-1. What an upset!
ROCCAT, for the first time in history, have defeated Fnatic in a series. And that means so much to ROCCAT to maintain their spot, looking for the 4th spot in Group A.
What a good feeling it must be. Take down Fnatic for the first time in your org's history to string together 3 victories after not having gotten a single one throughout much of the split. What a turnaround for this team.
Major turnaround. You can see smiles on their faces. Perhaps a little less jubilation than I was maybe expecting of such a big win for ROCCAT, but nevertheless, like, the pressure's on for Giants to even that win up.
Yeah, well, they'll get to play this ROCCAT squad later on in the week, and oh man, that's going to be even spicier, I think. ROCCAT, though, well-deserved win for them, and such a long series to hold out. That was a 37.5-minute game, and that was our shortest by far.
Long series, but ROCCAT come out with a win for Fnatic. It's an unexpected defeat at the end of this week. I think when they're looking at the standings, Fnatic themselves would expect to take down ROCCAT, but on the day, the games go the opposite way. It's long, hard-fought games. This wasn't ROCCAT sweeping Fnatic aside by any means, but ROCCAT were in control of Game 2 and Game 3, and Fnatic were trying to play for the late game, and there was just one too many mistakes.
And ROCCAT, for their side, honestly didn't make nearly that many of it. You pointed it out so many times in the game, but it was very smooth from them, and that's not the kind of thing we've come to expect from the bottom teams in the LCS. We've seen a lot of mental mistakes. We've seen positional errors, and this is a team that has really improved it so rapidly.
Yeah, so rapidly. I mean, that was... Coming into today, I don't think many people would have expected quite such a...
Maybe they get ahead in some games. It still looked like Fnatic were going to be a pretty big favorite.
I mean, when you look at it, like, ROCCAT's strengths typically have been later on in the game, so I think you could be excused for thinking Fnatic in most games would take the lead early on and then end up in a rough situation if ROCCAT are fighting back, if ROCCAT are playing at their best. But this last 2 games, like, ROCCAT ahead. Fighting Fnatic at all opportunities.
We had everything in this series, man. The first game, that was honestly a little bit of back and forth, the Fnatic controlling the early game, and then kind of ROCCAT having a chance, but then fumbling it at the end. The second game going so ridiculously long, a big pause that ROCCAT had almost finished, and then they get aced, and then to come back, and then after that, to win this game, and to win it, honestly, looking just really good.
I mean, it's hard not to oversell it. Like, ROCCAT have won their last 3 series now. Like, we're going to have to check for the next time ROCCAT play when the last time that actually happened was. Like,
well, because we looked at the 2 series wins, and it was a while ago, so we might have to dip back further.
You have to go all the way back to 2015 for 2 back-to-back wins. So, like, this surge from ROCCAT is unprecedented in the last year and a half of the organization's existence. So, you talk about peaking when necessary.
Clearly.
That's ROCCAT really putting those improvements into practice.
Yeah, it's really nice to see from that team, and it makes the race for the promotion tournament all the more interesting going forward in the next couple of weeks. But for more now, QuickShot is on with some of tonight's winning players.